Jesus fucking Christ, I just opened my notifications. What the fuck is this? G'day ya cunts, I'm Chirk1Ting, your resident horror fanatic, psychic, and Yurei otaku. It has come to my attention that Spinosaurus the King has returned to the Jurassic community. This guy has some of the most outlandish takes of anybody in the Jurassic community. Now, since I've been exiled from the Jurassic community, if not the entire DinoTube community, it's unfortunate for him that horror movies are right up my alley being a horror fanatic. You know what's really unfortunate that I am forced back into this, considering I swore to keep this life buried, but looks like I'm gonna have to dig out my old guns. With a bounty open for Spinosaurus the King's head, let's go hunt this son of a bitch. It's been a while since I opened this guy's channel. Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that this guy hasn't changed since the last time we actually met. This guy has an itchy trigger finger. I can tell you that from experience. And of course he has to ring the dinner plate for me. First video we're gonna look at is Jigsaw versus Jason Voorhees. Also, the thumbnail is wrong. That isn't Jigsaw. That face in that thumbnail was actually from Billy, which is the puppet Jigsaw uses in his games. Also, there's this reason why Jigsaw actually kills people if you guys actually pay attention to these movies. The real reason why Jigsaw has these contraptions is to test us to see if we still have that will to live. Also, it becomes even more apparent considering that Jigsaw actually has cancer. So yeah, Jigsaw basically wants us to appreciate life, which I feel like this motive is the most purest one of any killer in classic American horror. Jason Voorhees being one of my favorite slasher villains of American cinema is also another very sad case. And this is really the most extreme case of filial piety I could possibly think of. I mean, this is also reminding me a lot about Charlotte Emily from the FNAF series. Pamela actually killed in order to avenge Jason's death and to punish the camp counselors for neglecting Jason and letting him drown in Crystal Lake. I mean, it's really sad. Like, Jason was the light of Pamela's life. So, Pamela killing those camp counselors was completely justified. When Jason actually saw Alice decapitate his own mother, the woman who cared for her dearly even though he was deformed, his first kill was to avenge his mother, and then the rest was to carry on her legacy. This I can definitely sympathize with Jason for. Well, yeah, I fucking digress. Anyway, let's just get on with the video. Couldn't you have at least used a voiceover to credit someone? I mean, it's not that hard. Oh, just bear in mind there's absolutely no music. It's basically just filler. Jack, were you asleep during the majority of the movie? I mean, Jigsaw was literally on a wheelchair. He's not sneaking up on anybody. How is that supposed to be a feat? I really don't understand this guy's logic here. Well, no fucking shit. Jason literally killed someone using a sleeping bag in a tree. A little bit of trivia for this particular scene. So the prop itself was actually so fucking heavy that Kane Hodder had trouble actually swinging it. So eventually when he got the scene right, he was so frustrated that he literally threw the thing on the ground and kicked it. Unfortunately, the MPAA actually told them to cut out the part where Kane actually kicked the dummy because it was a little too brutal to be shown on cinema, which is unfortunate. It shows how brutal Jason is. Like, honestly, I wish they kept the scene in.
What the hell?
Are you kidding me? Are you for real? What the hell kind of feat is that? Of course Jigsaw has a voice! The whole point of Billy was for Jigsaw to communicate with his test subjects. Jigsaw has cancer. He is not mute. And by the way, Jigsaw is the only one that has a voice here. Jason didn't even say a word when he was an adult. The only time when Jason actually talks was when he was a child. And even that was being channeled through Pamela Voorhees. Are you actually comparing a children's voice to a grown adult's voice? Jesus fucking Christ, Jack. Do you even pay attention to the movies you watch half of the time? Because holy fuck. So according to Spinosaurus the King, getting people to rekindle their instincts to survive is considered evil. Oh Yeah, you don't say. You don't fucking say. Using death traps on someone is definitely more brutal than just hacking them to death with different objects. Thank you for not being completely obvious, stating something that we've seen throughout the entire movie. Negongyula wala ne. What? I'm sorry, were you referring to Billy? Or were you referring to Amanda? Jigsaw was literally on life support. How the hell is he supposed to move? Also, as for Billy, I wouldn't consider a remote control tricycle agile. As for Jason, have you seen Jason Takes Manhattan? Just to avoid copyright, I'm gonna actually voice over this scene for you guys. Miles swings his axe at Jason, which he blocks and literally disarms him. And then we cut to a scene where it literally lands just a few feet away from Ronnie, barely missing his head. We then cut to Miles booking it the fuck out of there. Miles runs all the way to the prow of the ship, only to see that Jason is there, cutting him off. He then scrambles up the ladder to try and get away from Jason, who just looks up at him. It's honestly really funny how Miles thinks he can get away from Jason at this point. Miles is actually covering pretty good ground, but just as he thinks he's safe, he gets seemingly pulled off of the ladder by Jason, who is for some fucking reason decided to apparate. I.e., Jason can literally teleport. Agility goes to Jason. Oh, because somebody drugging another person is considered stealthy, I get it now. Literally all of Jason's kills, aside from the main character, he was able to sneak up on them, catching them completely off guard. The stealth criteria goes to Jason. Although Jason was able to live for 30 years without being discovered, Jigsaw actually designed most of his traps. Jigsaw has this extremely gifted ability of recollection where he can recall the victim's sins in vivid detail. So yeah, I'm actually gonna have to agree with Spinosaurus the King on this specific point. I have no idea which part of your ass did you pull that one out of, but throughout the entire Friday the 13th franchise, Jason has not been shown biting anyone to death. Were you high watching the Friday the 13th franchise? Again, this is a stupid point, because Jigsaw actually is the only one that laughs in this whole video. Okay, this is something I really didn't like about Freddy vs. Jason, just to say it. Because Jason has actually shown the ability to swim in Jason Takes Manhattan. Although there was just one premise where it shows that Jason was afraid of water in Freddy vs. Jason. Holy fucking shit, Spinosaurus the King made fun of someone with cancer. To be honest, I actually can't help but laugh at all the death scenes in Saw. Although all the Saw deaths are gruesome, don't get me wrong, Friday the 13th was absolutely fucking awesome to watch. I mean, you're talking a horror classic here. However, the franchise temporarily lost me at Jason X. Yeah, I kind of found the premise of Jason in space kind of fucking stupid. Although I must say Freddy vs. Jason was actually decent. So I'm gonna have to agree with Spinosaurus the King on that one. Didn't you already do this one? I mean, intelligence quotients and intelligence is the same. Okay, so a lot of stuff he's mentioned in the last bit, I kind of agree with. Next video, I guess. Alright, so this next video is called Michael Myers versus Ghostface. Oh my god. Ugh. All the Ghostface we ever got in the Scream franchise were basically horror fanatics. Like, why you do this to them? I mean, you're pitting a bunch of horror movie nerds against the Shape, expecting it to be some sort of, hey, just like in the simulation type shit. You do realize Ghostface asks you if you like scary movies. That's how you know that they are horror movie nerds. As for the Shape, Michael Myers was literally the incarnation of evil. I'm sorry, but the Ghostface are screwed. As a matter of fact, the Ghostface, or whoever dons the costume, knows exactly the threat level of Michael Myers. I could actually don the Ghostface costume and I would know instantly not to fuck with Michael Myers. Like, what? I mean, Halloween, like John Carpenter's Halloween, is literally the Black Sabbath for most of the horror fanatics. Anyways, let's just get into the video.
The McSpicy you love.
I'm sorry, what the fuck?
How in the fucking hell did he get monetized? Motherfucker took a picture of his 2-inch cock and sent it to a public group chat. Like, what the fuck? Bub is the last person to get monetized. Kind of ironic this guy's name is Jack. Jack and the medically tiny beanstalk. What's funnier is that was coming from an Asian. It's cartoonish at best. The slasher genre isn't really a genre that I'm actually phased with all the deaths. I think it's pretty funny. As a matter of fact, considering the Scream franchise is basically a tribute to the slasher genre as a whole, I think it helps for the kills in Scream to be a little bit more cheesy. And meanwhile, what Michael Myers did to Bob Sims. This is a perfect example of Michael Myers being an absolute badass. You can see Bob Sims struggling as Michael Myers literally lifts him up, one-handed might I add. No, I mean it, bro actually lifts the cunt up. Like, holy shit. Just want to admire Michael Myers' strength just for a sec because this guy is insanely strong. So what he does next is that he takes his kitchen knife and he stabs Bob Sims, pinning him to the door. I'm not sure if you get it, so let me re-clarify. He pegs a fucking teenager to the fucking wall with a fucking kitchen knife. A fucking teenager. If that is not brutal, I don't fucking know what is. This is by far my favorite kill of John Carpenter's Halloween, the original to the entire franchise. What can I say? The kill's stylish. Alright, so in the original Wes Craven Scream movie, it actually shows that the Ghostface, being Billy and Stu, aren't really that evil. Billy was abandoned by his mother. I think it's pretty justifiable for how he reacted. And I wouldn't see being peer pressure to do anything like this evil as well. And Jack, hopefully you remember this, but in John Carpenter's Halloween, Dr. Loomis did mention that Michael Myers was purely and simply evil. Also, Dr. Loomis did state that Michael Myers was the most dangerous patient he had ever observed, which is speaking volumes of his own. Simply putting, the Shape, the boogeyman, is evil incarnate. This guy murdered his own sister, his own older sister at 6 years old. That is young, even for serial killer standards. The fact Michael Myers was able to peg a teenager to a wall is definitely a testament to his strength. That I can agree with Spinosaurus the King on. John Carpenter's iteration of Michael Myers shows that he was mute throughout the entire movie. Bro did not talk even once on screen. It's one of Michael Myers' most defining character trait, well, at least in the John Carpenter iteration. Rob Zombie's iteration was a whole nother story. But we don't talk about the zombie Halloween movies. Oh fucking dear mother of all fucking retcons, we do not talk about the Rob Zombie iteration.
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you!
As for Ghostface, every new person taking the mantle of Ghostface actually has their own voice changer. The original one they actually used in Wes Craven's Scream was actually the best. I mean, if Spinosaurus the King was referring to the John Carpenter Halloween iteration, then no, it's not really fair to compare someone that doesn't talk at all to someone that uses a fucking voice changer. The definition for intelligence and IQ is the same. This is something I don't get about Spinosaurus the King. Nothing, and I mean nothing, beats Michael Myers' William Shatner mask. It was the William Shatner mask that brought Michael Myers to such fame. So I have to agree with Spinosaurus the King on it. Why, you horny motherfucker? Alright, so Michael Myers doesn't need to run because he can literally teleport like Jason did. Look, he was off screen. He was on screen a minute ago, and then at the next cut, he's gone. How do you explain this? Michael Myers just literally pulled a Batman right out of the blue. Oh, and this other scene, so yeah, we see Laurie Strode at school. She looks out of the window and she sees Michael Myers standing behind the car. Alright, so this is one of my favorite scenes, by the way, just to let you guys know before we actually continue. At this point, Michael Myers is just eyeing his prey, basically stalking Laurie Strode. I mean, unlike most other serial killers, he was actually very tactical. He's playing this very tactical. Alright, so once Laurie Strode's attention is drawn away from Michael Myers because she has to answer a question her teacher was asking her, it doesn't take her quite a long time to actually answer the question correctly, but in that specific time frame, when she actually gets the question right, Michael Myers is gone. I mean, this could be attributed to an increased and heightened level of stealth, pulling off the same trick Bruce Wayne did, with little to no effort. Or it could be because of the supernatural aspects Michael Myers possesses. Ghostface is able to run, but he is no Usain Bolt, and he is actually really clumsy, often rushing into situations where it winds up getting him hit by an obstacle. Remember, this is a horror fanatic in the suit we're talking about. Alright, I'm not even gonna bother critiquing the rest of that video because I honestly agree with everything else he said. What we're gonna do now is that we're gonna have an intermission period where I basically just go into Spinosaurus the King's Instagram just to make fun of some of his posts. Let's do this shit. What the fuck? I mean, this is straight up porn at this point. Don't get me wrong, I post some pretty over-the-top stuff on the feed of my social media accounts, but I draw the line on whatever the fuck this is supposed to be. Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's just weird to see someone literally skull-fucking a mask like that. The hell is wrong with Spinosaurus the King? Every single person he ends up being friends with is an absolute fucking weirdo. Going as far as to sexualize a minor. I know this is a cartoon, but Brooke is literally a fucking minor in Camp Cretaceous during this point in time. Has the horror movies you've been watching taught us nothing? What would Jason or Michael Myers say? And now we talk about Jurassic World Survival of the Fittest. Jesus fucking Christ, where do I begin with that fucking shit show? First of all, editing is shite. Second of all, voice acting is shite. Thirdly, absolutely no cohesive plot. It's a whiplash-inducing brainfuck. I think I stated it back when I had my Paleoexotics mantle, but Spinosaurus the King allegedly was behaving more like Stanley Kubrick on production of Jurassic World Survival of the Fittest. For the sake of credibility, just ask Paleo Tribe for the screenshots to prove my point. I'm pretty sure he still has a few screenshots on his phone. Last year, Spinosaurus the King actually said he wanted a child to be locked up for espionage. I mean, I would say espionage would be a serious crime, but I think it's a little too extreme considering the person actually doing the espionage is a child. And then there is this video titled Jurassic World Exposed for Ruining the Jurassic Park Free Spinosaurus. Even though this moment happened ages ago, it still stands as one of the most extreme Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 4 hot takes I have ever seen. This video is basically a 42-minute long off-the-cuff reaction of Camp Cretaceous Season 4. And all I can say is that Spinosaurus the King and White Eyes, which is the guest Spinosaurus the King invited on this video, yeah, they got a little too emotional.
The directors and the writers of Camp Cretaceous Season 4, they should get on their knees and fucking suck our dick.
Okay, I don't care if that was in the heat of the moment type scenario, it's still uncalled for. Being upset at something is never an excuse to start using rape threats. I know this was mostly White Eyes' fault because he's really upset at the whole situation, but honestly, Jack, you could have cut that out. I mean, you clearly have a editing software where you have the tools to cut that part out. Spinosaurus the King and his goons has actually admitted to stalking and basically harassing and downright blackmailing Colin Trevorrow into giving into their demands. It's funny how a fictional dinosaur species can make someone stoop this low. Right, so yeah, I'm kind of diverging in the main point of my video, but I feel like it's necessary to bring up Spinosaurus the King's past sins because newer people in the community would want to know why veterans of the community are freaking out about the return of Spinosaurus the King. I mean, I'm just here to point out the fact that Spinosaurus the King gets really emotional, and there's a lot of instances of Spinosaurus the King saying things at the heat of the moment, on top of his excessive cherry picking. He actually believes the game is canon. What propaganda are you saying though, for real? In the paragraph, he states, I am fully aware the game isn't canon, but the movie is. Alright, I think it's time to read the full caption of the post. Bear in mind, this guy commented this with an anime profile picture. Must be sad knowing that you're trying to defend someone as a weeb. Jurassic World the game reveals that it's possible a InGen Spinosaurus can get spikes, and it also revealed that the InGen Spinosaurus would have been the biggest land carnivore in Jurassic World Park, even bigger than the 15-meter long Indominus Rex. Yes, I am fully aware this game is not canon. However, in the actual movie, the canon diagram said 18 meters long for InGen Spinosaurus. The Spino is the biggest, roughy, and strongest in this franchise by far, as of right now. Being 17 or 18 during the point in time I actually saw this post, my main problem with this was the fact he literally said Jurassic World the game reveals that it is possible a InGen Spinosaurus can get spikes. This would suggest that the whole point of him clarifying that the games aren't canon is just to get people off his ass. Spinosaurus the King used a detail from a game in order to make his point more believable, completely overlooking the intention Ludia had in mind, because Ludia intended for this to be a artistic design. My intentions were to call him out because his speculations were a stretch and overlooking certain details. Also, I just want to point this out, InGen wasn't the one who engineered the Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus was actually part of a Biosyn amalgam testing dubbed Project Regenesis, which we actually found out like last year. The full document is heavily expunged, but if you actually dig in, you'll actually get the full details. So yeah, the Spinosaurus was actually legally cloned by Biosyn, made to look like InGen did it, which is why the Spinosaurus was never mentioned in InGen's list. Biosyn has kind of a knack for bamboozling InGen's employees into working for them. I mean, the Spinosaurus was illegally engineered, but I guess that is just something the Spinosaurus supremacists, including Spinosaurus the King, overlooks time and time again. Oh, and just for the record, the Spinosaurus was never mentioned in Michael Crichton's original book, although the 朱老机工人 cover from 2005 actually featured the Spinosaurus. I still have no idea why the fuck the Chinese would want to have a Spinosaurus on the book. Oh yeah, because the 50 Cent army likes to fuel Spinosaurus the King's ego. Just to get this thing out of the way, yes, Jurassic Park is considered a horror movie, so I'm not really breaking any rules if I actually try to debunk Spinosaurus the King's take on the Jurassic franchise, which really allows me to talk about more of the grotesque stuff mentioned in the Jurassic Park books. The old Venom doesn't look like a cartoon at all. It looks like an actual alien, and it looks real and not fake. Why are you comparing a Clintar with a fucking xenomorph? Silence of the Lambs is really cool because the plot involves Hannibal Lecter, who is a cannibal. Also, just for comparison, we have a Korowai tribe member because they're cannibals too. Dude, see how fucking stupid you look, Jack. Also, of all photos you can find for a xenomorph, you have to pick the Kratomorph from fucking Alien Covenant. You couldn't have picked the original xenomorph from the Ridley Scott movie, inspired by the Necronom 4, which is literally straight out of H.R. Geiger's Nightmares. You, someone who watches horror movies, chose CGI over fucking practical effects? I'm disappointed. Alright, I'm aware that the Protomorph suit was actually a practical effect, but still, in this day and age, every single fucking thing is CGI or is replaced by CGI, might as well be CGI. How can you say no to the Stan Winston animatronic and suits they used in Aliens? Even Paul fucking W.S. Anderson actually made a physical suit during filming of Alien vs. Predator. Also, this is coming from the guy who literally praised the Jurassic Park animatronics, which were made by Stan Winston. You choose CGI over this, you fucking heretic? Holy shit, this is scary. The great white shark in Jaws is the biggest and strongest great white ever. Alright, I know this shark is a 25-footer, but still, I wouldn't be fazed at that scene. Alright, so the book, Jaws by Peter Benchley, adapted to film by no other than Steven Spielberg, is an undeniable horror classic and definitely a worth watch. Combining the animatronic sharks with actual footage of real sharks. This helped make the film a lot more believable and did a real disservice to actual sharks. A little bit of trivia, the animatronic shark's name is Bruce, and Bruce had a real knack of malfunctioning during takes. This is a quote from Spielberg. It was just good fortune that the shark kept breaking. It was my good luck, and I think it was the audience's good luck too, because it is a scarier movie without seeing much of the shark. Jack, can you not do anything that will overhype the fucking thing, please? It's torturous enough having to deal with your fucking 18-meter long Spinosaurus theory. I'm in no condition to hear another rendition of that. I mean, like, I swear to God, if I hear anyone mention that the fucking shark from Jaws is a juvenile megalodon, I think I'm gonna throw myself off of the Marina Bay Sands. What the fuck is going on? This is one of the most random video I've ever seen on fucking Instagram. I'm so fucking confused. This is so fucking random. I mean, like, the fact that this is the red-faced demon from Insidious. What? Wait, who picks that fucking music? I can't. It hurts to fucking watch this video. That's why I'm laughing. Oh, fuck. Face as well. Holy shit. Oh my god. I'm honestly in hell. Like, this is absolutely cringe. Alright, we have time for one more YouTube video. The last video we're gonna be doing today is original Michael Myers versus remake Michael Myers. John Carpenter versus Rob Zombie. Oh yeah. To be honest, I have an exceptional bias towards the John Carpenter Halloween Michael Myers. I think it's maybe because the Rob Zombie one basically retconned the fuck out of the entire lore of the Halloween franchise. Rob Zombie has this very metalhead-like style of filmmaking which doesn't really work for the Halloween franchise in any shape or form. I think it's mainly because Rob Zombie decided to turn Michael Myers' upbringing into a fucking dysfunctional redneck family where its mom is actually a stripper. Part of what made John Carpenter's iteration so alluring is the mystery behind Michael Myers' decision to kill Judith Myers. Rob Zombie made Judith Myers into a fucking horny slut. I mean, Rob Zombie made her so unlikable, I was actually finding myself cheering Michael on as he stabbed the shit out of his older sister. What I can say about the Rob Zombie Halloween movies is dick jokes galore. There were so many dick jokes, it was getting extremely repetitive. Alright, time to blitz this. Each kill makes him stronger, then he wasted all his points on fucking brawn. Rob Zombie Michael Myers needs to get his cardiovascular going. He was huffing and puffing with every single stab he made. John Carpenter's Michael Myers, on the other hand, makes it so fucking effortless. Same, definitely same. John Carpenter's Michael Myers all the fucking way. Bro got stabbed in the eyes with a clove hanger and then got stabbed in the gut with his own knife. Dr. Loomis shoots him 6 times with a fucking Smith & Wesson Model 15, chambered in 38 special. Michael Myers ate a full magazine and fell a 2-story drop. The next time Loomis checks, he's gone. To give you an idea of how much of a feat that is, this is what a 38 special can do to someone's body. I have to agree, John Carpenter's Michael Myers was a fucking unit. He was able to pin a teenager to a wall by stabbing him with a kitchen knife. Strong enough to lug a fucking tombstone out of the ground. He got stabbed in the eye with a clove hanger. Then stabbed in the gut right after that. Bro just sits up like the Undertaker after all of that. He kills someone at 6 years old. John Carpenter's iteration of Michael Myers was the first one to have done all these feats, making his more memorable. Although Michael Myers' feats for Rob Zombie's iteration is also pretty impressive, even though Ismail treated Michael Myers well, the thanks he got was a fucking TV to the face. What made this particular scene so memorable was Ismail was literally pleading, "I was good to you, Mikey." This scene had me feeling so bad for Ismail because he actually treated Michael Myers pretty fairly, but that was pretty much the only scene that really struck me. John Carpenter's Halloween will always be the superior movie. I'm sorry, where the fuck do you see a scene where Michael Myers bit someone to death? Michael Myers doesn't bite people at all. He does eat a dog at one point, but even that he uses the knife to kill the fucking thing. The Bite Force thing was a format for the comparison videos for dinosaurs, so I guess my theory is that Spinosaurus the King forgot to cut that part out. Michael Myers has always been shown to steal and drive cars. First instance was in John Carpenter's Halloween, and another instance in Halloween 5, also in Halloween H2O, and in Halloween 2018. I mean, it's also probably in the Rob Zombie one as well, but it's kind of a reoccurring thing in the Halloween franchise. But it shows the intelligence of all iterations of Michael Myers, not just the Rob Zombie iteration. John Carpenter's iteration of Michael Myers ends up winning this, so yeah. And there you go, we reached the end of this video. I might do other videos critiquing Spinosaurus the King on his horror related content, but I guess that's all for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Trick One Ting, keep venturing to the unknown, signing the fuck off.